Hello, welcome, and thanks so much for joining us for the fourth Cribs for Kids 25th Anniversary Safe Sleep Champion webinar. As we get started, you'll see your mic is muted and your camera is off, and you may hear some dings as other people join us. We have a full house today, so we'll get started. My name is Devin George. I'm the program officer here at Cribs for Kids, and Andrea Wilson, our Chief Marketing Officer, is running the show behind the scenes. Our host for today, oh my gosh, our host for today is a social media manager, Kelly Jayme. First, Kelly will talk with Cribs for Kids founder and CEO, Judy Bannon, and they'll be joined by Safe Sleep champions and partners, Charlie Hunter and Jayme Hovey. We start each webinar with a video, which you just saw, and it featured highlights from our Breath of Life Stroll, Cribs for Kids national event held each October, allowing partners, hospitals, and first responders from around the country to mark Safe Sleep and SIDS Awareness Month. That's what today's guest will be talking about, how they've used Cribs for Kids programs and the Breath of Life Stroll to support infant safe sleep in their communities. If you've joined us for the past few 25th anniversary webinars, you may notice we've switched to a new platform, migrating from Teams to Zoom. And for those of you new to the webinars, let me take a minute to give you an overview. Today is the fourth of our free monthly webinars to celebrate Cribs for Kids 25th anniversary. Each month this year, around the 25th of the month, depending upon where it falls in the week, we talk with safe sleep champions from around the country about the work they're doing to prevent infant deaths and injuries from unsafe sleep. They are live, as you can hear me stumbling over my words for some reason today, but they are recorded. That means if your schedule stops you from joining us live, or if you want to go back and find something you may have missed, or you'd like to share a webinar with someone, which we hope you do want to do that, you can. The first three webinars are available for viewing on our website. Today's will be available about this time next week. To find the recordings, just go to cribsforkids.org, click on the very first About menu item, and there you'll find our 25th anniversary link. Over the past few months, we've talked with Safe Sleep champions, Dr. Mike Goodstein, Lori Winkler, and Michelle Berry. Each shared their expertise, whether as a medical expert in the field, as a nurse and community health educator, or as a product expert. Catch up on all of this and see upcoming webinar topics on the 25th anniversary webpage, again, under the About section at cribsforkids.org. So before we get started, you'll see that both chat and Q&A are available. If you have comments, use chat. If you have questions for our hosts or guests, that's what Q&A is for. So as we end our session, we'll invite those questions. We suggest you wait till we near the end of the hour, as we found we often answer questions in the course of the conversation. But if you have a question, send it through the Q&A. If we have time, we'll answer them live. If not, we'll stay on the line after the webinar recording ends to answer them for you directly. So let's get started. As I said, this month we are talking with a couple of safe sleep champions to learn how they collaborate with Cribs for Kids to support safe sleep in their communities. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague and your host for this webinar, social media manager, Kelly Jayme.
Thank you, Devin. My name is Kelly Jayme. I'm the social media manager here at Cribs for Kids. Today we'll be talking to Judy Bannon, founder and CEO of Cribs for Kids, to learn more about the full suite of our free programs, the history and benefits of each, and how our partners can become involved further to lower the rates of infants' sleep-related injury and death in their communities. We'll also welcome two special guests, Safe Sleep champions and Cribs for Kids partners, Charlie Hunter Jr. and Jayme Hovey. Charlie's the owner and founder of Gulf Coast Forensic Solutions in Lake Charles, Louisiana. He has been a death scene investigator for over 17 years. He's a member of the Southwest Louisiana Safe Sleep Task Force, where he serves as an executive committee member and has educated thousands of individuals across Louisiana and the country about the importance of safe sleep. And Jayme has been a registered nurse for 13 years. In 2014, she accepted a position in the labor delivery, recovery, and postpartum unit at Houlton Regional Hospital in Maine, which is one of our gold certified hospitals. She began teaching childbirth preparation classes in 2016 and became a certified childbirth educator in 2018. And she is a safe sleep champion for her hospital. Welcome, Charlie and Jayme. Let's start by introducing Judy Bannon, founder and CEO of Cribs for Kids. Hi, Judy. It's an honor to have you speak today. And I'd like to congratulate you on celebrating the 25th anniversary of Cribs for Kids. What a milestone.
Hi, Kelly. I'd like to welcome everyone to the webinar today, and I'm excited to talk about how it really did take a village to accomplish what we have done in the past 25 years.
Yes, it did. You know, the title of today's webinar is It Takes a Village, which is actually the perfect depiction of the history of Cribs for Kids. Let's rewind back 25 years. It's 1998, and you're the executive director of SIDS of Pennsylvania. Talk about how this program came to be and how it redefined your work in the safe sleep space.
Gee, it's hard to believe that it was 25 years, but it sure has been that long. When I was hired at SIDS of Pennsylvania as their very first executive director in 1989, my goal was to find out why at that time over 10,000 babies a year were dying of what was described as a mysterious syndrome that took babies in their sleep. Back in the 80s, nothing was known about sudden infant death syndrome or why these babies were dying at such high rates. No money was dedicated to finding an answer. And the mission of the SIDS organization was to provide bereavement services to the many families who had lost their infants, over 54 families a year in Pittsburgh alone. After hearing horror stories at our support meetings about how families were treated by unknowing first responders who thought the death was somehow the fault of the caregiver, I developed a first responder training so that those arriving at the death scene were aware of SIDS and were compassionate and trained in asking open-ended questions. And I always stressed to these first responders that it was the role of the coroner who would decide the cause and manner of these deaths. So at that point, they were just there to help the parents through this horrible time. At that time, we had a SIDS mother, Eileen Carlins, whose baby Rachel died in 1981. And she went on to receive her master's in social work. And she was a victim of having experienced accusatory questioning by an emergency room doctor. So Eileen was able to bring her personal experience to these trainings. We unfortunately lost Eileen to cancer in 2017, and she is still deeply missed. In 1992, I was asked to present at the International SIDS Conference in Sydney, Australia. It was at that conference that the research study was released, which centered around infants being placed on their backs to sleep, excuse me, rather than their tummies in Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. This action resulted in a 50% decrease in SIDS deaths in these countries. I really felt it was the hand of God that I was there to hear about this study. I knew immediately that our mission at SIDS of Pennsylvania would change to not just bereavement, but to reducing the risk of SIDS and someday actually finding out how to prevent these senseless deaths. By 1994, Back to Sleep was recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics. And by 1996, our SIDS deaths in Pittsburgh had gone from 54 a year to 28. That was really thrilling. However, there were still way too many babies dying. And that year, Eileen Carlins and I approached our coroner, Dr. Cyril Wecht, and asked if we could refer to his death scene investigations of those 28 infants to determine what they had in common. One thing we knew was that the demographics of our support meetings had changed. We no longer had more affluent parents coming to our support meetings, but most of our parents were low income and often African American. What we discovered through this study was that 90% of these cases, the baby was sleeping in unsafe sleeping environments. The majority of them were bed sharing with an adult. Many were on couches and other unsafe places, and many were still being placed on their tummies. At that time, very few of the families had a crib in the house, either because they couldn't afford one or because of cultural norms, and many had not heard the infant safe sleep message. After meeting with Dr. Wecht, our district attorney, Steve Zappala, the president of Pittsburgh City Council, Bob O'Connor, a commander in the Pittsburgh Police Department, Gwen Elliott, who also sat with me on the Allegheny County Child Death Review team, decided that we had to start to to remedy this by providing cribs to these low-income families. And at that time, Cribs for Kids was born. Now you know why I am a firm believer that it takes a village. By 2004, we had only 4 SIDS deaths in Allegheny County. This reduction was credited by the Allegheny County Health Department to be the result of our Cribs for Kids program. It was at that time that I began to get calls from other cities and counties and nonprofits and statewide organizations about duplicating the Cribs for Kids program in their communities. In 2006, the National Cribs for Kids program was established. I began to expand my staff, which up until that time consisted of me and Eileen Carlins. Within the next within the next year, we were 5 ladies strong. This growth is chronicled in my book, 5 Ladies in a Forklift, which is sold on Amazon. Barbara Clemens joined me that first year and was my rock during those building years. Cribs for Kids would not be where we are today without Barb. Unfortunately, we lost Barb to COVID in April 2020. She is sorely missed every day. We started out with 7 partners that year, and today we are proud to report that we have over 1,800 partners nationwide. More importantly, those 10,000 deaths a year have, according to the CDC's last count, been reduced to 3,400 a year, but we still know that that is still too many.
It really is. And Barb is very missed
Yeah,
every day here at
she
Cribs
sure
for
is.
Kids. You know, it's interesting that Cribs for Kids started as a program at SIDS of Pennsylvania and has grown into the mission of this incredible organization today. Over the past 25 years, Cribs for Kids has expanded to include a full suite of its own preventative programs that are offered for free to our partners. Let's talk about the programs developed under Cribs for Kids. Which one was first?
We started out with the Managed Care Organization program. We realized that most of the infants dying suddenly and unexpectedly were from low-income, often African-American families, and most of these families were involved with the Managed Care Organization who provided them with health care. We also knew that the MCOs were having a hard time getting the mothers to go to their prenatal appointments. So we approached our local MCOs with an incentive program that would encourage the mother to go to their visits and reduce the number of premature births and NICU stays. I explained to the MCO that the money they would save by eliminating just one lengthy stay in the NICU could pay for our incentive program for 10 years. We all know about head and heart speeches. Well, this was definitely a head speech. The MCOs report that these incentives have increased participation in their enrollment. It is really a win-win-win. Our participating partners have a funding source for their safe sleep products. The MCOs meet their requirements to increase enrollment and prenatal visits, and the mom receives a safe sleep education, and a crib for her baby. If you're interested in starting an MCO program in your community, I let Bridget Gossett here at Cribs for Kids know what the contact information is, and she will be happy to get to work with you to get them involved in this wonderful program.
Definitely. How many MCOs are signed on today?
Today we have 32 MCOs, and some of those are statewide
That's so great.
providers.
You know, one of the pillars that Cribs for Kids was built on is education. Tell us about the origins of the Safe Sleep Ambassador program.
This training was launched in 2018 online, but we actually started it way back in 2006 when we awarded Safe Sleep Ambassador certificates to people who attended our educational programs. They had to pass the post test, and they had to pledge that they would train 3 other people in their community about the importance of safe sleep. The program was based on Each One, Teach One, which originated during slavery. When a slave was taught to read, they were asked to pay it forward by teaching 3 more people to read. Today, we have over 35,000 Safe Sleep Ambassadors.
The Safe Sleep Ambassador training really came in handy back in 2020 when we had to convert everything we were working on to the new virtual world. Talk about the at-home program.
Yes, when the pandemic hit, we realized that our partners no longer were able to meet in person with moms to provide the safe sleep education in the crib. Within a week, because we already had our Safe Sleep Ambassador program online, we developed the at-home program. After passing a post-test and becoming a Safe Sleep Ambassador, our partner would send us the mom's contact information, and the crib was shipped to them within 2 days. Some of our partners found this so convenient that they're still using it, the at-home program, to this day.
And of course, as a companion to the Safe Sleep Ambassador training, we also have the Safe Sleep Academy. How did that piece originate?
Well, as our number of partners grew, we were emerging nationally as the safe sleep experts. A feature on our website was our Ask the Pediatrician section. Our staff member, Dr. Eileen Tyralla, who is a neonatologist and pediatrician, was not only receiving questions about infant safe sleep, but inquiries that ran the gambit from infant development, breastfeeding, baby's milestones, product recalls, and how to create a safe and healthy home. Through the development of our Safe Sleep Academy, we quickly became a one-stop shop for all questions a new mom might have. Because many have the same questions and concerns, Dr. Tyralla's frequently asked questions section is still very popular with our moms.
The Safe Sleep Ambassador program is incredibly popular. You know, a reminder that one of our silver anniversary goals is to sign on 50,000 Safe Sleep Ambassadors by the end of our 25th year. And as I said, we're at 35,000 now. As a partner organization, a great way to involve and educate your community is to actively promote the Safe Sleep Ambassador certification. Again, this is a resource that is part of your Cribs for Kids partnership. It's free to use. Explore ways that you could use it in your community. Host a babysitter training, encourage your new parents, grandparents, caregivers to become certified. Give your staff a refresher course. Our entire staff just recertified once the updates were added to reflect the latest AAP guidelines. Be sure to use this tool going forward. So Judy, next came the National Safe Sleep Hospital Certification Program, which has grown into one of our most comprehensive programs. How did it start?
Well, this was always one of my favorite programs. In 2010, with the help of Dr. Tyralla and Dr. Goodstein, and after 5 years of walking through the halls of the Pennsylvania Capitol, I was successful in getting Pennsylvania Act 73 of 2010 passed. The bill made it mandatory for every hospital and birthing center in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to provide infant safe sleep education to the mother before leaving the hospital. Our theory was that a clear, concise, consistent message had to be given. The only place that could be done was where 98% of Pennsylvania mothers gave birth, the hospital. After many partners asked us to help them pass similar bills in their states, which was way too time consuming, Dr. Goodstein and Dr. Tyralla and I knew people in Pennsylvania, and it took us 5 years. Dr. Goodstein suggested that we take the tenets of Act 73 and create a hospital certification program. Right today, we have over 500 partners certified. Devin, George, and Kaylee Bagundis, sorry, Kaylee, are hard at work every day, working with hospitals not only to get them certified, but to recertify them after a 5-year period. It's just been a wonderful program. And when Devin came on board, she really breathed new life into it.
She really did.
Mm-hmm.
Our guest, Jayme, is a registered nurse at Houlton Regional Hospital in Maine. Jayme, talk about your hospital's experience with the National Hospital Certification Program.
All right. Thanks for having me. So in 2015, I was approached by my labor and delivery room manager, and she had been researching this Cribs for Kids and the program that you guys had to offer. And she came to me and she said, would you be interested in like taking the lead on and working on getting us certified? So after doing a little bit of research on my own and reading in on the website and whatnot, I said, absolutely. We're a very small rural hospital. And I really thought the whole hospital could benefit from, the whole community could benefit from us being certified. So we began in 2016 at the silver level. And then last year we finally met the requirements. And, COVID played a huge part in preventing us from getting to gold for a few years, because it was like nobody seemed to be around each other. But in the last year, we did finally become gold. And I think the key to our success has really been starting early. We do, here at Houlton Regional, we do what we call prenatal intake. So at 36 weeks gestation, we bring parents in and we basically just have a conversation with them about if they're ready, do they have all the things they need to bring the baby home? Do they have a safe, space for the baby to sleep? And I think just hearing that early, I also teach childbirth class, and I plant the seed there as well. So they're hearing it multiple times throughout their pregnancy. So I think that's been a huge key for us. We, all of our nursing staff is educated yearly on safe sleep, and on labor and delivery, we really we focus on leading by example. So, especially like new parents, and if this is their first baby, we want them to know right from the gate that what the safe sleep environment should look like, and we're constantly educating them and leading by example. So they know if they see their nurse, creating a safe sleep space for their baby, then it will sink in. And I think with everyone being educated in the hospital, it's just reiterated over and over again throughout their stay that we are a safe sleep hospital. And sometimes I refer to it, I'm the safe sleep police. So I think with anything, the more you talk about it and the more you educate, the better the results. When moms come in labor, we ask them again in their labor admission, where is your baby going to sleep? What do you have for arrangements when you go home? And it's at that time, if that was a way for us to really get every single patient that came through, because everybody has to have an admission process, right? So that's where we ask the parents. And if their safe sleep space doesn't meet, it isn't satisfactory, that's when we would provide them a crevette. So we have those right here. And after the stroll last year, we were awarded a few crevettes, which have been nice to have for the families that have needed them. And in Maine, Maine has really stepped up, I feel, with the safe sleep initiatives, because the Maine CDC will actually reimburse, not just certified hospitals, but all hospitals in the state of Maine. The CDC will reimburse them for safe sleep environments. So that's huge. And all of our parents go home with safe sleep sacks, which they love. They all go home with a safe way to keep their baby safe at home. So those have been really helpful to them. We've participated in several educational community activities. We held a women and children's health fair, where we set up a safe sleep booth and educated the community that way. We have safe sleep educational booths set up in the hallway. Usually we do that in October. Reaching out on Facebook and in the newspaper. Those are all, I feel like safe sleep is really being talked about a lot around here. So it's a good thing. And then the Breath of Life stroll, that was huge. And I'll talk about that in a little bit, but
thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Jayme. We're so lucky to have to work with such dedicated nurses like you throughout the country.
Yes,
thank you
sure
so
are.
much. Thanks for joining us today too.
Thank you.
So finally, we have the National Public Safety Initiative. Judy, tell us about this effort and how it came to be.
Well, in our quest to find people in our village and to help with our mission, we identified those who could be our eyes and ears in the community. Being from Pittsburgh, Mr. Rogers taught us early on, look for the helpers. These helpers came in the form of our first responders. The program allows fire departments, EMS, police departments, probation and parole officers, and coroners to expand their community outreach policies and provide safe sleep education and free cribs to families in need.
Charlie, your organization is one of our most active, taking advantage of so many of the programs that Judy described. Tell us about your experience implementing the National Public Safety Initiative in your community.
Guys, first, thank you so much for having me here and letting us spread what we do here in Southwest Louisiana. When we began our partnership with Cribs for Kids, my background comes from the coroners world of things. And, unfortunately, in that coroners world, we do see the end outcome of these unfortunate infant deaths, that you've all talked about, touching on the unsafe sleep environments. And that's something that affects each of us, on a daily basis. As Judy said earlier, with as many deaths that we reported across the country, we were experiencing those same issues right here in Southwest Louisiana. And we knew that the coroner's way to get involved could involve so many more, so many people. Like you said, it takes a village. So we really reached out and we focused on what we call the big four: our law enforcement partners, our coroners, our fire department, and our EMS. A lot of times, as part of this public safety initiative, those first responders are the ones that are dealing with those types of calls, responding to those types of residents, oftentimes, rendering aid. So it didn't take a lot of pushing to get our first responders involved. And we started our Cops and Cribs program. That was our very first initiative that we did. We met with our local sheriff, and we ended up having his permission as part of his dedicated training for his deputies to train every deputy at the sheriff's department, which began with over 300 deputies at our sheriff's department. And that slowly began to go into our police departments. So in Southwest Louisiana, we now have partnered with every law enforcement agency within our parish and have trained those deputies that go out and respond to the day-to-day calls, as well as their supervisors. And the same goes for our fire department and our EMS. Our first responders, like Judy said, are out in the community. They're the visible force that's out in the community every day. And our goal with Safe Sleep was the preventative of all these infant deaths that are due to accidental means. And our first responders are going inside of residences across our community every day, multiple times a day, for various reasons. And having their training to be able to look out for a safe sleep environment or an improper environment, and to be able to stop right then, no matter what the reason of their call is, to simply stop and educate someone. Hey, this is a potentially hazardous situation for your baby. Let me tell you why. And then, having been trained, can sit there and have that conversation, from someone who is out there in the community, who's seen as a protector, or someone who administers help. It's made all the difference in the world to us. It's a great community-based thing. Obviously, it builds that reputation with our community and our first responders. And it gets them excited. It gets us excited. We've also seen that infant death reduction. And so now Safe Sleep has partnered with all of our Safe Sleep initiatives, and it's at all of our National Night Out event, our community health and safety fairs. So not only did the coroner's office take the lead with this, it kind of picked up its momentum, because our first responders, as part of our National Public Safety Initiative, has seen the success of this program and wants to do everything they can to prevent infant deaths. So we've been very fortunate to have a complete community buy-in, and again, has seen that large reduction in infant deaths, which is what we all strive to achieve.
Oh, thanks, Charlie. You guys are wonderful. Thank you all for the overview of this Cribs for Kids, the suite of programs. We offer all of these preventative programs for free to our partners through the sale of our line of infant safety products. These products are the heartbeat of Cribs for Kids. It's incredible that the Cribs program, which started in 1998 at SIDS of Pennsylvania, has grown to fund all of these efforts. This was Judy's vision, a different way to fund a nonprofit and raise awareness of safe infant sleep. Judy, tell us about the evolution of the Cribs for Kids product line.
Well, prior to 2017, we had adopted the Pack and Play, the Graco Pack and Play, as our crib. Originally, we were distributing full-size cribs and mattresses, and we quickly decided that was not the right fit for our population, who very often were living in small quarters. Our decision to use the play yard type crib was bolstered when the AAP recommended in 2005 that the baby should sleep in the same room as the mother, but not the same bed. Because safe sleep education was the mainstay of our mission, we decided to turn the crib into an educational tool that would have the ABC alone back crib message imprinted on the fabric. Because Graco was not willing to change their fabric for this purpose, which to this day I will never understand, we traveled to China, the only place in the world that play yards are manufactured, and worked with a distributor, Corbex Children's Products, and the manufacturer in China to develop our signature product, the Cribette. Knowing the parents and especially grandparents needed to be reminded constantly about the safe sleep message, we developed a line of products that are both functional and educational that contain safe sleep messaging. They include our Snoozette, our Snapette, our Swaddlette, and all of our products are available in English and Spanish. So we're really proud of our product line because we know when people are using them, they're reminded about the great importance of infant safe sleep. By 2017, we felt confident that our infant safe sleep message was being disseminated through our ever-growing network of partners. However, it was brought to our attention through a young pregnant volunteer from an affluent neighborhood that she and most of her friends were not aware of the importance of infant safe sleep. Of course, they were receiving all of their medical education from the internet and from blogs and mothers who were bed sharing with their infants. At that time, according to the IRS, Cribs for Kids could only sell to nonprofit organizations. So we formed a for-profit subsidiary of Cribs for Kids, and we call it Etc. The name came from the fact that all of our products end in et: Cribette, Snoozette, Swaddlette, and Snapette. 100% of the proceeds from Etc. helps Cribs for Kids continue our life-saving mission of helping every baby sleep safer. These products are a great way to be introduced to the infant safe sleep message, and especially at baby showers or when the mother is first finds out that she's expecting, to give her something with this message on. It makes her start to think about where her baby is going to sleep and just how the baby will sleep.
Yeah, distributing safe cribs is the backbone of Cribs for Kids. But keep in mind that you don't have to be a distributor of the products to become a partner. These free programs are available to any nonprofit that is working toward helping families in their communities. But our development team here at Cribs for Kids is focused on partner fundraising efforts so that your community can take advantage of our Cribs program and raise the funds necessary to provide these no-cost cribs and education to families in your community. You know, one of our favorite fundraisers has always been our annual Breath of Life stroll. The stroll was a live event every fall here in Pittsburgh to raise awareness during Safe Infant Sleep and Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month in October. In 2020, the Breath of Life stroll was in its 12th year and was of course canceled due to COVID. Our team decided to turn it into a virtual stroll and began to develop a process to involve people in that new way. Last year, we opened up our virtual stroll to our partners as a yearly fundraiser. We provided the platform, and funds raised during the partners online stroll are placed as a credit in the Cribs for Kids partner store to be used to provide cribs in their communities. Jayme, Houlton Regional was our participating partner last year. Tell us about your team's experience with the stroll.
Yeah, so as part of our community outreach, we decided that we were going to participate in the Breath of Life stroll. We thought it would really bring the hospital and the community all together to promote safe sleep while raising money for Cribs for Kids. So fall time in Maine is absolutely gorgeous. So we all, thoroughly enjoyed our foliage walk. We started out at what we call Riverfront Park in Houlton, and we held just a short ceremony talking about safe sleep, and just we highlighted the key points to safe sleep, and then we had a moment of silence for the babies that those precious babies that have died unexpectedly in their sleep. We had participants from our OB office, from our pediatrics office, from the labor and delivery unit. We also had parents of new babies in the community that showed up. So that was awesome. And then we ended up being the top fundraising team. So with no doubt, we're going to participate again, and we're hoping that this is going to be bigger every year.
Oh, thanks, Jayme. We're so grateful to you guys for being one of our pilot organizations as we attempt to take the Breath of Life stroll into a national event through all of our partners.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Having the experience of producing this stroll as a live event for 12 years and now a virtual event for 3, our team is in development of a toolkit that will help our partners plan their own Breath of Life stroll. Whether you decide to do a one-day live event or form a team and join us in our month-long virtual stroll, the toolkit will cover everything from virtual platform training and sample social media posts to a live event checklist and sample sponsor forms. It's a great opportunity to gather your community together and raise awareness of safe sleep. And October, like Jayme said, is also Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. And the stroll's a great opportunity to honor little lives lost and to give lost families a healing opportunity to remember them. Another reason that Charlie is here is so that we can pick his brain a bit on throwing a successful live event walk. The Southwest Louisiana Safe Sleep Task Force throws one of the most fantastic yearly safe sleep awareness walks. It's called the Stroll and Roll. I follow it on social media every year, and I'm always amazed at how this organization is able to bring their entire community together. Charlie, can you tell us about the event and maybe give us some tips, especially on bringing on corporate sponsors?
Again, it's such a great thing. Our stroll and roll here in Southwest Louisiana. This year will be held. It's always the first Saturday. We try for the first Saturday in October every year, again for the month of October. Our stroll and roll event was created by a family who did lose a child due to an unsafe sleep environment while at a sitter's house. And it was actually the family who came forward to the Safe Sleep Task Force and said, hey, we want to bring this attention to the area and let people know that this is something that happens. It doesn't necessarily make the news. And this is what we have in mind. And they came up with the name of the stroll and roll. So our stroll and roll is now going in our 8th year. It's attended by hundreds and hundreds of people every year. We have a dual stroll and roll. So our stroll is our 1 miler. It's where our moms come with our strollers and babies, and they take the 1 mile stroll through the park. And also we have a 5K that goes on at the same time for the walkers and the runners. And the whole day is about our Safe Sleep Task Force. So all of our first responder partners, our public safety initiatives, they have vendor booths out there. They're able to meet and interact with the community. And from a sponsorship standpoint, our Safe Sleep Task Force in our partnership with Cribs for Kids does hand out the pack and plays to families in need. And this is our one event throughout the year that is able to raise enough money in one day that we can fund our program for the year. And so one of our biggest successes has been our sponsorships. And, it's easy to find families who have unfortunately know someone who has suffered a tragic loss. And you'd be surprised how that translates into people in the community and the various organizations across the community who would want to donate to this event and help raise awareness for this. And we started off, local with our first responders and those organizations and agencies that, bigger corporate agencies that you don't think play a factor in this, like your local funeral homes and people like that who also handle these types of cases. Everyone wants to be involved. It's such an easy thing to be a part of. And, we've kind of gotten together in our community, and now we have people already, here in May wanting to sponsor already for our stroll and roll at the beginning of the year. We make sure that our sponsors obviously get that recognition for helping support such a big community effort. And these efforts, again, in Southwest Louisiana have reduced our infant death rate to, 66% since we've started our program. And so it's a great program to have people involved. That day, we have everyone local. We have live music. We have food. local singers. We have tons of food. Of course, we're in Louisiana, so there's tons of food. We have fun jumps and face paints for the kids. We make it a very fun, family-friendly day, but throughout the day, we have our important community key members, our local law enforcement, our coroners, people like that, giving those tidbits about safe sleep and making sure that people know and encouraging them to go out in the community to share the safe sleep message. So we've been very fortunate with our stroll and roll, and we're looking forward to another great event this year.
Thanks, Charlie. Everybody's taking notes. I love to follow that event every year. You guys I don't know. You just really do it right. It just feels like every single business in Louisiana, in your parish, is involved. So I always find that to be just so encouraging.
I also want to thank Charlie for always participating in our national conferences.
Yes.
His session is always so well attended because he speaks from the heart, and he speaks from knowing exactly how it feels to walk into a house where a baby has died. So he can project that to people and to businesses in his community. And he has a heart as big as Louisiana. So we are so thrilled to have you as part of our village.
Thank you for allowing us to be a part of that.
Thanks.
Great. Actually, thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Jayme. Thank you, Judy. Thank all of you for joining us today. I hope we were able to give you some insight into the free programs offered to you as a Cribs for Kids partner. Please consider implementing as many of them as possible to ensure infant safe sleep in your communities. And look for the Breath of Life Stroll Partner Toolkit. It will be available on our website on Monday, June 19th. We hope your organization will join us this coming October. Help us raise awareness of safe infant sleep and raise funds for your community so that you can place babies into safe cribs and provide safe sleep education. If you're not yet a partner of Cribs for Kids, become a partner on our website and join us in our mission to help every baby sleep safer. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok. We are at Cribs for Kids. That is my own little plug as the social media manager. I feel like we're a little bit out of, actually, I feel like we have time for a couple questions. Andrea, do you have any?
Yes. Oh, so Karen Gray Medina just said, Judy, hello.
Hello,
She's a
Karen.
fan of you and Cribs for Kids.
I'm a fan of Karen's. Karen spoke at our very first conference back in 2008. And it was through her presentation about what she was doing at her hospital that Mike Goodstein came to me and said, let's take the tenets of our bill and do the hospital certification program. So that was after 2010, but he got in touch with Karen and she was so helpful. And here again, when we talk about a village, all of our partners are part of our village. So we have always asked partners to share with all the other partners things that they have done. And they can read about those things not only on our social media, but our monthly newsletter that Kelly puts out. So we're always reaching out to partners to ask them to share what they're doing so that other partners will know how to do it, just like Jayme and Charlie have done today.
So Karen's follow-up question is, can you share your sleep-related infant death numbers for the past couple of years? Devin.
Yes.
Is that a Devin answer?
Sure. So we always go to the CDC for those figures. And so when you say for the last couple of years, they just released their latest data, which only goes through 2020. So there's a data lag. So possibly you might be able to reach out to your local health department or your state health department who might have information on what is happening locally, because then that information is what gets carried forward then to the CDC figure. So it'll be another year before we see 2021. Now, if you're really interested, and I hope you are, you can join us for the next webinar next month, which focuses on that research, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. And I think there's actually a question in chat, and Lori Winkler also talks about reaching out to the your local child fatality review board and your state if you don't have one locally. But I think there's another question in chat about Jayme's event.
Yes. She wanted a link for whenever you have the Houlton event scheduled. Are we able to connect her to you, Jayme?
She's on mute.
Yes, absolutely. You could connect her to me. It will be in October, so we don't have a date or anything set yet. But
Great.
Great.
Do you guys have any more?
That is all.
Okay. I have you up.
Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us today. Charlie and Jayme, especially, I want to thank you because it really does take a village, and we are honored that you are a part of ours.
We sure are. It's been great talking with all of you. I'm going to pass it back to our hostess with the mostest, Devin George, to hear her action items for this month. Devin?
Yeah, I don't want to be redundant, but I do just really want to thank Charlie and Jayme. They bring so much. You see the impact the work that they're doing has on safe sleep and the mission that we have around the country. It's partners like you guys that take our mission forward to the community. It's the cornerstone of our organization. So thank you. And thank you to Judy and Kelly, who are actually down the hall. If you've ever seen our drone video that gives the tour of the office, they're down the hall and I'm in my office, but it's so nice to share the monthly anniversary webinar feature with colleagues for sure. Okay, so back to the audience. If you've joined us for earlier webinars, you might remember that we end each session with 3 items: a call to action, an announcement of our next webinar, and we play our new lullaby, Just Baby, a kind of schoolhouse rock for safe sleep. So first, the action item. In our first 3 webinars, we asked people to share our lullaby, then become a safe sleep ambassador, and then sign up for product recall notices or report the sale of unsafe sleep products. Please keep doing all of that. Spread our lullaby, share our education, stay up to date on infant product safety. So this month's action item is a little bit bigger. We are asking that you bring the Breath of Life stroll to your community this October for Infant Safe Sleep Awareness Month and Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. So even if you're not a partner, maybe you can identify a safe sleep certified hospital like Houlton Regional, a public safety participant like we have with Charlie's area, or a partner in your community that you can collaborate with for this event. So it's a big action item, but the first step is simple. Just mark your calendar for what Kelly mentioned for June 19th. That's the date when the Breath of Life Stroll Toolkit will be available on our website. And we really appreciate you taking that into consideration. So that's the action item. Next is the webinar. So following today's session, registration will open for next month's session. It's scheduled for Monday, June 26th at noon Eastern, when we will feature infant safe sleep and research with what's in the numbers. And that way we can speak to the earlier question about the latest figures. It's hosted by our CEO and founder, Judy. Yay, I'll be at the beach. So thank you, Judy. Dr. Osfeld, we will again welcome Dr. Mike Goodstein, and Barbara Osfeld will join us. Dr. Osfeld is a professor at Rutgers Robert Wood Johnson Medical School, and she's program director of the SIDS Center of New Jersey. She's an expert not only in the history of unsafe sleep deaths and SIDS, but she's also a real expert on the most recent findings and what we are learning about infant death, the pandemic, and the health inequities that are driving this. So we hope you'll join us for what is sure to be a super informative webinar. Okay, so next, we've got the action item in the next webinar, and now the lullaby. It's an old hat for those of you who've joined us for earlier sessions. We close each webinar with Just Baby, a safe sleep lullaby, like the Safe Sleep Ambassador and our video library content on the Safe Sleep Academy. It's available at no cost. The song, the video, the music bed, which you heard at the beginning video, it's in English and Spanish. It's all there for free for downloading and sharing. As a lullaby plays, if any other questions came up, we will answer those. But remember, you can always reach us at info@cribsforkids.org. Again, so thank you so much to Jayme and Charlie. Thank you to Judy and Kelly. And of course, those of you joining us live and watching later, we appreciate your time and your commitment. Thank you.
Sleepy crib. Bassinet or play yard naps. No pillows, blankets, no toys. Just baby.